That's why it's called the shrine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fela didn't take his music lightly.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's Gbedu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what Gbedu means is spiritual beat.
Yeah.
Spiritual music that hits the soul.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we have most music is always on a 1 2 1 2 1 through, right? But with Gbedu is 1 2 3 1 2 3, right? You know, that in the middle is where the soul and the spirit. That's the beat for the soul and the spirit.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Afro Soul Stories. Today I am joined by an instrumentalist, a music producer, a gentleman of Nigerian heritage who lives in Britain. I'm joined by Afolabi, otherwise known as Flame. Good afternoon.
Hello, Sewor. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on your pod.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a real pleasure to be listening to your music for the past few days.
Oh, thanks.
And so we're just here to discuss everything to do with African history, African creativity. So please tell everybody a little bit about yourself and life growing up.
Well, growing up, I was born in South Lambeth, London.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went back to Nigeria at the age of 3.
Wow.
And lived in Nigeria, grew up there, my primary school, secondary school, and came back to London at the age of 18.
Wow.
Yeah. So during my time in Nigeria, obviously I picked up quite a lot. And I was someone who was dyslexic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So most of ways I could express myself was through drawing,
Sure,
art, and so on.
Yeah, creativity.
Creativity and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lucky that I had adults around me who could encourage that aspect. Yeah. Even other areas of my adult education I had to struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, that's where that kind of influence has always come, being able to create.
Yeah, of course.
From nothing.
Yeah, of course. Fantastic. Yeah. So how was life growing up in Nigeria? Yeah.
I think life growing up in Nigeria for me will always be the memorable, right? That's where I would say that's where I found myself.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't go back and redo life growing up in Nigeria, because in a sense, after coming back here, things that I found and learned about myself, I knew I would never have been able to learn,
of course,
in another environment.
Yeah, of course.
So life growing up in Nigeria was always I wouldn't say challenging in that sense, right? But a challenge one's approach to life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And music. And creativity.
So let's talk about music and creativity. Yeah. So obviously in that environment, you would have been exposed to some fantastic music, some fantastic mentors growing up.
Yeah.
Talk about the people that affected you musically and drew you to music.
Well, obviously the most influential would be Fela Kuti.
Of course.
Yeah. But before Fela came in the family, it was juju music, Ebenezer Obey more, because from where I come from, Abeokuta, and also my parents listened more to Ebenezer Obey, and once in a while Sonny Ade.
Yeah, of course.
And also my father's musical background was a high life.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Because I found out later on that him growing up, he was always involved with the high life music. Either one way, performing. But later on, he went and studied to become a civil engineer.
Wow.
Then with my own mom as well, at that time, the western region of Nigeria, I discovered a clip of my mom performing and singing solo.
Wow. So you're from a musical family?
Yeah. So in that sense, yeah. So that's when I realized that she actually represented the western region, given that solo part.
Wow.
So, and then later on, I also found out that my grandfather, my father's father, was also a music teacher.
Wow.
Yeah, in Abeokuta.
Wow.
Right. And that's how we kind of like got to,
Communicated.
communicate, find music, the voice, and understand different rhythms.
Yes, yeah.
And I wouldn't say just African music, because my parents also listened to, especially my dad, he listened to classical music.
Of course.
And so on. And in that sense of classical music, he found that kind of similarity in Barry White's music.
Yeah. Oh, Barry White was an amazing orchestrator.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So out of all the songs we played at that time, my father could relate to Barry White.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he could also relate to Fela's music.
Yeah.
So it's in that type of music I understood and saw music arrangements differently.
Yeah.
And I didn't see music as something that A has to go with A.
Yes, of course.
B has to go with B, which is what I find in some music at times. It's just one.
Yeah.
But it's when music comes together and challenges itself to a dance.
Yes.
And then instruments find a melody.
Yes.
That's the way I could relate to music.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, that's really amazing. I mean, being from a musical family, which is, I think, very, very important from a young age to really have that around. But yeah, you mentioned Barry White. He was a fantastic orchestrator. And before he was a singer, he was more of a producer who did orchestral arrangements for people. Yeah. Now, growing up around that time, obviously Motown and soul were obviously very, very large. Did you find that also influenced your musical creativity?
Definitely did.
Yeah.
And one area of that was funk.
Yes, we are talking the same. We're in the same hood.
George Clinton was a very big influence.
Yeah.
And I like the way he saw music as well.
Yeah.
And he always threw that rhythm with you and the groove.
Yeah.
And I always saw that similarity between Fela, Nicolas Bokuti, and George Clinton.
Yeah.
Especially the album covers.
Yeah.
And also the social consciousness of the lyrics.
Yeah.
The depth of what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So he was George Clinton was a big influence. And then Bob Marley, of course.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And Bob Marley was being able to translate a universal language.
Yeah, of course. He really did talk to everybody.
Yeah, he spoke to everyone.
Yeah.
And that for me was like what music was about.
Communication.
Yeah. And what I found was that at times what we miss out in music was that these musicians were original in their way. Yeah. And to find that level of originality means that you ought to spend time with yourself.
Yes.
To learn to listen to the music coming from you.
Yes.
Right? And then interpret that with your own talents.
Yeah.
So when we were developing our own music as teenagers, right, I enjoy the fact that my friends and I think my influence at that time was Olubi Babalola.
Okay.
Olubi was on guitar, and his brother, Bolaji Babalola, he was a bass guitarist, and I was meant to be the drummer, right? At that time I couldn't really keep time, but the idea was there.
Yeah.
Right. But what I enjoyed was that musicians being able to sit down overnight while learning chords, come across
new things.
A new thing.
Yeah.
Yep. I never liked when musicians come in and say, "Oh, this is A," and that A doesn't fit in there. So in that way, it made me understand African music a little bit further, right? Because in Western music, you'll have the A, B, C, D, E, F to F, right? But in African music, there was an alphabet missing in that F. Yeah, we had B. Yep, and I felt that B was that note for Gbedu.
Right.
Yep, and that's where you find in Gbedu B.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a note.
It's a tonality thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tonality thing. Yeah. So that's why being dyslexic meant that for one, I couldn't read music.
Yeah.
So I had to put aside the ABC of music, and lean on XYZ. Yeah, the missing kind of arrangement. So that's how music was for me.
Yeah, but that's a wonderful approach, though. I myself don't read music, and I'm self-taught in 3 instruments, and I have always used my ears. And for me, I found that when I was younger and writing, I'd stumble upon things that were far above my pay grade. But you discover something, and you're like, I like that, and you do it, and then many years later, you're like, oh, I was doing something quite interesting, So I think that's always a very interesting way of coming to music. And again, it's about what makes you move and what makes you feel in your soul. Now, I've always found, from my experience, rhythm to be such an important part of African music, and on a different side from Western music, which is a lot about chords and arrangement. Yeah. So how has rhythm impacted your music?
Rhythm has impacted in a very big way. To start with, I play bass guitar.
Of course.
So at the time that I was like, I picked up the instrument, I picked it up like kind of isolated. Mm-hmm. Isolated meant that I'd plug in my bass, put on my headphones, and I'd jam to myself overnight. Mm-hmm. And over the years, while playing the low notes, I needed the high rhythms in between. So I now realized I was now playing bass with harmonic structures, rhythms. Right? And that's how Afunja music was kind of like developed. And there was something, there was once we recorded a song in the studio. This was in Chiswick Metropolis Studios. Mm-hmm. And we recorded this track, Spiritual Songs. Mm-hmm. And while we recorded, we had to go in and record that in sections. Yeah. Because the music was totally new, unique. Even the band didn't even know where it was coming from, So I went in, we laid down the drums, we laid down the bass, and then after that, we laid down the keyboards. Mm-hmm. And while the guitarist was like putting his instrument together, we suddenly started hearing his part coming out of the music.
There you go. Yeah.
So someone asked him, I was like, Mark, have you played your part? He said, no, I'm still setting up. And I said, it's unkind, it's coming out. For me, I felt that because that was already the resonance.
The harmonic resonant frequency
was already in there already.
Yeah.
Very
interesting.
And the bass and the keyboards were doing different things.
Mm-hmm. But there's resonant frequencies that were coming through.
Was coming through.
Yeah.
So that's how I see music, and that's why most of the music was developed jamming.
Yeah.
Because when you jam, you might start off in a different direction, but after a while, a certain rhythm comes in,
and you find a coherent thing.
Yeah. When you all just surrender to that, that point, and that's where I find music, not on the shelf.
Yes, yeah. Now so let's talk about Afunja, your group, and let's talk about music growing up when you came back to the UK, and how did your journey start?
Well, my journey started. At that time, I was studying architecture. Mm-hmm. And at a point, I decided I wanted to go into music.
Of course.
Yeah. And luckily for me, I met my very close friend, Mark Christopher, the guitarist and also like a music director, in Afunja. Mm-hmm. So what happened is like he introduced me to, we'd already jammed, so he knew what the music was about and so on. So he introduced me to just a few producers and so on. So from there, we just started like, I felt confident to start writing Afunja music, not from the jam. Afunja music is African funk and jazz. Yeah. And the reason why it's African funk and jazz is that it's because of the influences. Mm-hmm. And you can see from the website that some of the songs are like rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Some are kind of like Afrobeat.
Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
are like jazz. Some are like reggae. Yeah. And that's because like it depends on where,
Of course.
yeah, where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we give like Afunja, African funk and jazz. And even though we defined it, right, it wasn't
Pigeonholed.
Yeah,
yeah.
So at that time we were in the studio, no one knew what to do with it.
Of course, it's always the way. Yeah. People love to have categories.
Yes.
And often the best music is not like that. It comes from the mixture of people and circumstance and places and things. Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of it for the last few days. And yeah, there's also, I get an interesting influence from a lot of 60s music and psychedelia as well. And was that a big part of your writing style as well?
That was a very big part.
Yeah.
Because I haven't mentioned Osibisa.
Yes, of course.
Right. I haven't mentioned BLO Blue.
Okay.
I haven't mentioned Mono Mono.
Okay.
And also I haven't mentioned Ofege.
I see. I need to do my research.
Yes. It might surprise some people, but Ofege really is another big influence.
Cool.
Yeah. Ofege, I see like a band or music that represented my own generation. Yeah. And I will see like Fela's generation as the one we came after.
Okay.
But my generation was actually the quiet generation.
Right.
Where nothing I felt musically really came out from.
Interesting.
And that's because we were caught between the influx of funk, soul, and everything being thrown at us, And not so many people like paying interest to that traditional beat.
Yeah.
And at that time, maybe some even saw that beat as, oh, really, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. So, Ofege at that time were a school band. Yeah. And we all looked up to. And the school that I come from as well, we had a kind of like rival band.
Of course.
Ofege, yeah. And we had more of a musical community, but they never really released an album like Ofege did.
Right.
Yeah. So Ofege stood out for me as the music was our own generation, right? And that also meant like going to Gbedu College. We had a music room, and out of that music room came this musicians. Like Dele Shosimi, and thanks to like Peter Ibru, because through his dad, we're able to like provide all the instruments that we needed.
Fantastic, yeah.
So from Gbedu College, quite a lot of musicians came out, keyboardists, drummers, And whether we carried on with that career was a different thing, because that also had to do with our backgrounds.
Of course.
Yeah, and as you know, in Africa, most of our parents would want us to be...
Oh, Chale, you are either a lawyer, a doctor, or a failure.
That is it.
That is the African way. Yes, of course. And, musicians, that's not a route that our parents would choose for us, yes.
That is it, But it's a route that I felt that one had to choose for himself, Because for me, music was more tangible than anything. Yeah. It was tangible in the dreams.
Yeah, of course.
It was tangible in your thoughts, And I'm sure like if one transitioned to a different life, it would still be tangible then.
Of course, yeah.
Right, So that's how music was to me. Something tangible, part of your own experience, part of life.
Yeah. No, that's really amazing. Yeah, you've mentioned a lot of people that I don't know about, so I'm going to do my research as well. So there's a few people that I'd really like to listen to in that conversation. We were talking earlier, and we found out we have a mutual friend, which is Afunja Okudzeto from Ayatoro. Now, I know he was heavily influenced by Fela Kuti and had played with Fela a little bit when he was younger. And you also have a connection to the family in some way?
Yes. First of all, the connection is like, I'm from Abeokuta.
Okay.
Like Fela is.
So the same area?
Yeah, same area, right, And we're both from like a prominent family back home. And although Femi Kuti, we were classmates.
Right.
From 4 to 5 at the Gbedu College. You know, and with Dele Shosimi, you know, so really close friends.
Yeah, of course.
And the good thing about it as well was that when there was a time that when we had live gigs at school and the bands played, apart from the equipment that Peter and the Hebrew family had provided, right? Fela would also provide his PA, you know, and all set up, you know. So everyone was like, you know, getting involved in music.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever get a chance to go to the New Africa Shrine back in the day?
I did have a chance to go to the African Shrine.
Yeah.
Funny enough, when I was in Nigeria, I didn't really go. But it's after I came here, and then I went back for my father's burial. I went to Shrine for the first time, you know. Apart from that, I've been there with the school bus where we go down and pick up equipments, you know, right? And this particular time going to Shrine was an amazing experience.
Was it the original Shrine or
It was the original.
That's about to say.
Not that. Well, it depends on what you call your original Shrine, because the first Shrine was with Ojuelegba.
Okay.
And this Shrine is the one in Ikeja.
In Ikeja, so that's the one that's there now.
Yeah, that's the one that's there. And that's not even Femi's. The one.
There was one that burnt down, wasn't there?
That's the one in Ojuelegba.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. On the day that burnt down, we passed it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because we were coming from secondary school.
Okay.
Primary school.
Yeah.
University of Lagos Staff School.
Okay.
So we had to go past the rail terminal around Jibo.
Okay.
So anyone watching this will understand, going past phase 2. That day, his house was burnt.
Wow.
You could see the smoke miles away.
Wow, yeah.
And we went past, you know, and saw that we saw what happened.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I've been very lucky myself to have traveled to the new shrine in Ikeja. And of course, every year they do the celebration, the big celebration. And when I was living in Ghana, there's a contingent of Ghanaian musicians would go across. And the shrine is an experience that is, it's amazing. And for anybody who does not know about it, it is an aircraft hangar full of plenty of people, music, food, smoking. But more importantly, I think a very free sort of experience. And I think Fela's influence and the creation of essentially a small little city-state,
a republic,
the
Kalakuta Republic.
It was its own thing, and you know that was the land of Fela and freedom for his people and people who were influenced by that music. Yeah.
That's I mean that's why it's called the shrine. Yeah. Fela didn't take his music lightly.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's Gbedu. Yeah, and what Gbedu means is spiritual beat.
Yeah,
spiritual music that hits the soul.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we have most music is always on a 1 2 1 2 1 through, right? But with Gbedu is 1 2 3 1 2 3, right? You know, that in the middle is where the soul and the spirit. That's the beat for the soul and the spirit. Yeah. I would say Mama Kekere, who was like a grandmother to me, she described the music once that was traditionally performed, right, in Elisha. And it had this beat. It was Gbedu, right? But she said the beat was so mesmerizing and hypnotic that the oracles had to like tell them that, look, there are spirits who come into this music, and not all of them have good intentions, and some don't leave. That this music is just too melodic, it draws too much in. You know, so if you see Gbedu from there, right, you know, it's what we're talking about, that the tangibility of music.
The power of
power of music. It stays with you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You can have like a bar of gold in your pocket, but you can't have that in your sleep.
Yeah.
And you can't have it in an afterlife.
Yeah, of course.
Right? But if you have that music and that rhythm in you, you can recreate it in your sleep.
Yeah,
you can recreate it in your afterlife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So music is as tangible as love.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why when I look at Fela's music, I just don't look at it as, I see it as a Gbedu.
Yeah, it's a spiritual thing.
It's a spiritual music, And there's no time I listen to it, I don't dance.
Yeah. It's funny. I think one of the great differences when you see African children, they dance freely.
Yes.
And it's something that is very different from Western societies. There is something within the soul of people who have the freedom to feel rhythm in that way. And it's such an important thing. No, that's amazing. That really is amazing. So you grew up in the UK from the age of 18 with these influences from West Africa. And you met your bandmates and musical collaborators. And how's your journey been in the UK? How have you found the influence of African music evolving over the years? Because now, obviously, Afrobeat and Afrobeats, we must differentiate between the S, is now very influential. Yeah, and how have you seen that?
One thing that I'll say is that I'm very happy to see that growth.
Yeah.
Because the challenges we had at the early stages as an African band, African music.
Sure.
Yeah. The time, I remember there was a song the bass line that I composed was Irony of Peace. And at the time, I gave the demo to a producer. She kind of replied and said, "Oh, Kaka, okay, come in and let's play that song that you used 2 bass on." So I said, "It's not 2 bass, it's 1." He said, No, that can be 1. That's 2. I said, "No, it's 1." So when we got to the studio and so on, and she saw it was coming from 1 bass, she was like,
blown away.
blown away, right? So that journey went on. But it got to a point that the lyrics were in Pidgin, right? And most of the lyrics are in Pidgin, and someone said, "Oh, can you sing in English or something that everyone can understand?" And that's when I said, "Look, for me, when I listen to Funkadelic, I can hear the New York American accent in the music.
Yeah.
When I listen to Bob Marley, I can hear the sweetness of a Jamaican patois, right? This my background is Pidgin English,
of course,
right? The music has been generated from that language.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
So that was that
barrier
that was there at that time. But now that barrier has been broken.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we have to give credit to that generation that did that.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing now. I always say that, the internet is an amazing thing and it's good and bad in certain ways, but the positive has been the opening of barriers musically. I myself am not a huge fan of the term world music.
Same here.
It's just lazy. And it's trying to lump everything that isn't Western into a different category. And one of the great things about, I think, the modern world is now we have K-pop, we have Korean music, which is now pop music. We have Afrobeats, which is now pop music. Amapiano, which is now pop music, And that's been a wonderful thing because I think that, and also reggaeton, Latino, I love that stuff. Yeah. And, now everybody is more aware of music from around the world and different places of the world, but also the specific places, And I think that's also now opened up people's ears to stuff from before, which I think is really, really positive. Yeah.
It is. It is. It's a really. It's a big achievement.
Yeah.
And why I said give credit to that generation was that they did something my generation didn't do. Yeah. They stuck to their own rhythm.
Yeah.
And while we were struggling to interpret and start playing funk, which really wasn't, And the beat they have is like, bang, ba-dee-dee, ba-dee-dee, bang, ba-dee-dee, ba-dee-dee. That's the beat. You find it in all the songs.
Yeah.
It's as if we were grown up to look down on that, like, oh, what? That's backward music. But look,
it's the heartbeat.
It's a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Music doesn't lie. It's like it's like what we discovered about food. I'll use that as an example. We have a saying in Nigeria, things like butter.
Okay.
Right, someone who eats butter. It's like someone who's been westernized.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the word what it literally means.
Yeah.
So certain things we're seeing, beneath like maybe certain food, traditional food, eating with your hands and so on. But now look at the internet. You find everyone's into Nigerian food.
Yes. Yeah.
So that says something that taste is fundamental.
Yeah.
Hearing is fundamental. If it tastes nice, it will taste nice for everyone.
Of course.
If it's got rhythm, it will have a rhythm, put the rhythm together for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's those barriers, that I find that this transition with the Afro beats, was brought about. But the sad thing is that even the Afro beat itself or African music is still in that dilemma because we don't have genuine for high life. Juju.
Yeah.
Just talk about all the different kinds of African music. There should be all those.
Yes, of course. I find that, when I'm registering songs sometimes with, PRS and PPL, and you go through the genres, and sometimes when I do it and the AI, like for certain software that I use, it puts everything as reggae. And I'm like, well, this isn't reggae. And the categorization within music now, and you're right, there should be a section for high life, a section for this, a section for that. And Afrobeat and Afrobeats are different. But I think it's coming. And I think that there's been and there is right now a great curiosity to African culture and African music. And I think it's also in the art world and the literature world as well. And I believe it's a very, very positive thing for the world. And it's gonna be an exciting next few years, So let's talk about music again.
Yes.
What have been highlights from your years of playing?
The highlights, I'd say, from the years of playing, I think the busiest time was like, we did play live for about almost 3 years. And when we started, it was a bit of a challenge because we didn't know what to expect. But at that time, we found a spot in Camden, so we were resident there. So the first couple of gigs we had were like, all right, how's this going? Then when it got to the third gig,
all of a sudden
it was all full up, Then the fourth gig, we saw police vans packed outside, right? And we could also notice the plainclothes police.
Of course.
The Doug Martins and so on. But what we noticed was that it drew people from different parts of the world. So we had people who'd come from like East Japanese or Chinese and say, oh, something there sounds like...
Do you know there's a big correlation between the Japanese traditional drumming and West African drumming? There's something there. I'm not qualified to fully talk about it because I don't really know it, but I have heard the Japanese traditional drummers. And there is something there, there's supposed to be a great correlation between the Yoruba language and certain words in Japanese as well.
Oh, yes, I know. Edo. When my brother was studying architecture, he did a project in Tokyo. And the names were just like...
really similar.
Very, very similar.
Very,
very similar. I think it's the way of... it's the way of viewing life. It's quite simple. and
there's form and function.
in moderation. Yeah, and although that might have been lost in certain areas in the Yoruba culture now, right? But modesty was always important, and also respect.
Respect,
Yeah,
very,
respect
very
was always important.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a friend who is Japanese. She came to live in Ghana for a while, and she was doing some work there, and she picked up Twi very quickly, and had the phonetics were very similar, and I found it very interesting that I find speaking African language is quite difficult, but she took to it. Yeah.
Do you know there are quite a lot of Afrobeat bands in Japan?
I did not know that, really.
There are quite a lot.
Yeah,
if you check online, you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
And what I like is that they've actually caught on the essence of the music.
Yeah.
Because they're also using it as a protest in their own language.
And these are Japanese artists.
These are Japanese artists.
Some of my favorite music is Japanese funk from the 70s.
All right.
Those guys, I mean, the Japanese really do get things right when they concentrate on them, And if you go onto YouTube and just type in 60s, 70s Japanese funk, you will be amazed at how good it is. Wow. There's some amazing albums and really out there psychedelic stuff. I mean, they're really, they're getting out there. But that really, really intrigues me. Yeah, that's mad.
Well, I'll look into that. I'll look into that because, that's how African music
has gone global.
Yeah, gone global.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot more.
That's amazing. That really is amazing. No, that's wonderful. That was wonderful. Well, I mean, I think we've touched upon so many things musically, And one of the things that we were talking about just earlier was West African identity in the Western world.
Yes.
And we talked about the recent happenings in Burkina Faso and how obviously we have a period from post-colonialism and now we are getting to a stage where I think a lot of African countries are having their own say in things. Yeah, and I think that's going to be an interesting evolution. How do you feel about the wonderful world of West Africa in the modern world today?
The wonderful world. I think I'll repeat this little story that I said downstairs, The way I see African government is like this. Someone came from Europe, and he found himself in Africa and realized he was rich in resources. Mm-hmm. So he built himself a castle up on a hill in Africa where he could exploit the resources. And over years, he did that quite well, And he also employed some African servants to serve him in the castle.
Of course.
But one day he goes out to the village and he overhears the African villagers saying that if we get our hands on this bastard, we're going to kill him, So he runs back to his castle and then tells his servant, look, my job is done here. I've got everything I need. Mm-hmm. You know what to do and how to send the resources to me, right? But I have to go back to where I come from. Mm-hmm. But one thing I'll tell you, don't let your people know that I've gone. Mm. If they know I've gone, they will come and take over this castle. Mm. And that's the way I see African government, right? Africa is free.
Yeah.
Africans are free. Anybody in the world is free, right? But if you have a government that chooses to keep you in delusion, as if you're attached to something that you're not, right? Then this will continue. Yeah. And it's a real world to saying that African government do not reflect Africans.
Yeah.
It does not reflect African values or African society. Yeah. Any government, that's my own opinion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it is changing now, I think. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next few years. And I'm very curious to see what happens with the music in the next few years. I've spent a little bit of time in Burkina Faso, and Bobo Dioulasso is a big music city, and of course it's the city where Thomas Sankara was from, who was, you know, the transformational president in the 80s. So I'm very curious to hear what comes out of Burkina in the next few years. You know.
Well,
yeah.
I think like a lot of musicians have said, like Fela, you know, the music is a weapon.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
You know, music will always play a major part in whatever changes that happen in Africa.
Yeah.
You know, and we're all going to dance to the same beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's what creation is about.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all going to dance to that. And that's where all the music is coming from, no matter which classical, reggae, it's all coming from that one beat.
Yeah, of course,
you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
And the rhythm is always there.
It's always there.
Yeah.
You know.
No, this has been wonderful, you know. Thank you so much for coming through.
Oh, thank you, Sewor. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want us to touch upon?
I think that will be all for now.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure like, what could I say? That's all I say. That'll be all for now. You know. Thank you so much, sir.
We'll make sure that we have all the links to your website and to your music, and hopefully we'll have an audience that can check out what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem at all. Lovely.
Yeah.
Cool.